Hey guys, welcome back. I got a video here, pretty much going over all the plays that we went through last week, little bits about how I took them, why I took them, and then also getting into the future plays and watch lists for January 27th and so on. So enjoy the video, and it cuts in and out a little bit because I started one video at one point, and then I also started second part of the video here in Texas. As you can see, I'm at my brother's place in Texas in his office currently. So just bear with it. It's not a big difference, but enjoy the video and let's get after it.
Last time I left you guys, I was with Wayfair, right? We were talking about Wayfair Intel inaugurations week. It was a crazy week with options. I believe the last week I went up five, six, no, $8,000 in a week. It's pretty insane. So let me go over Wayfair with you guys. We did a good number on. We actually ended up getting out with about 75% gain on our earnings play. So again, remember we were looking at Wayfair, we're looking at Intel, we're looking at a few different companies last week, um, and you can see that this big resistance was broken, and I thought it was going to break it. I had a feeling it was going to break it, but also looked at technical analysis, looked at supports, looked at resistance, potential break of structures, change of characters, and I saw, all right, with earnings, this could be the pop that it needs to get past these levels. So we did have TP1 where we wanted to take profit about here. We opened here and we actually watched it go up very quickly, came back, closed, and kind of just consolidated the rest of the day. Um, so we actually took that. We're happy with it, 75% on Wayfair. So that was a big win. Intel, I didn't mark up for you guys. My apologies. My apologies. Intel, we only had about a 30% gain from here to here. We took that up the whole way. Good win overall. You could see, right, it had the same kind of look going that Wayfair had, and that's what I was going for with the initial earnings pop. We saw that, took it up a little bit more. If you look at the very right over here, it says $20, right? So $20 all the way up to 22 is about a $2 move. Not a big move for options, but it was still something. A little 30% for the chat, and everybody ate on that. So that was good. And another one that we've been eating on is Adobe. Right here, we had a 70% gain on Adobe. So if we scroll in, we took this gain from here all the way up to here, and it looked something like this. We had a nice tight stop loss, came down. We didn't take it all the way to the top. We took it right about here, and that was a 70% gain for Adobe. Beautiful play. Since then, we've still been in some Adobe plays, Adobe runners. We saw this come to the very top, had my alert set, wanted to get another call option once it came down. We did grab another call option close to 432, spiked up yesterday. I believe we were up like 30% on those. And then today, of course, we had a huge red day in the market. So, guys, I know you guys are hanging in there with Adobe on me. I'm still confident in Adobe going up and being bullish in the long term. So, as far as our Adobe play, I'm not worried about that at all. What do we got? We got MSTR. MSTR, we have been eating on like lunch money, like just insane. Look at this. We've been playing it up, down, sideways, left, right, everything. So most currently, because we went over these, most currently we had this huge put came down massive, about a 50% play. And then we had this call option here that was freaking me out, guys. This call option, I'm not going to lie, this one was a tough one because we were up here. We entered here, right? And because we have the blue being in profits and the red being in, not profits. And this actually came came into the following day, held it overnight. So this we went up, we went down, we consolidated, we went up.
My recording cut off and I flew all the way to Texas. I'm actually in my brother's office right now. So I'm continuing my analysis on MSTR right here. So bear with me for 1 second. What I was going over was that this specific call option that we had this at 9 a.m. and we were holding on to this all day, literally all day. And market closed, and I was like, you know what? I see that it wants to go up. Like we need to come up a little bit more before we come down. So literally, I woke up at 6:29 in the morning, 6:30 market open. I was watching this thing like a hawk to make sure it did exactly what I thought it was going to do. And sure enough, here we go. First candle of the day. It opened way down here, and I was like, "Oh shit!" But then I realized, like, this is going to, it literally came down and it was right at my teeter for my stop loss. I saw it starting to come up a little bit. I actually added to my position right here 5 more contracts, and I had 5 originally. With MSTR, we know how expensive that can be, but got in. This thing went all the way back up to here. I got out at my TP1 with over a 50% gain on 10 MSTR contracts. So that was a huge win, and we chopped that one up. So MSTR was another big win that we had for last week. Now, guys, the biggest thing that I want to do um, for next week, and so what I'm going to go over next is my SPX play. My SPX play I actually called out on Friday, and this was my only call out on Friday as far as a day trade, because I had other add-ons that I've been adding into other positions and swing trades that we have for the following weeks, which I'm going to get into. But for instance, so this was my SPX play, and we caught it on the retrace going up because this took a huge move down, right? We see this SPX SPY came up on the day, retraced, and took a huge move down. But I just want to go over this huge move up before it went down. So when we got into this play, I believe I made 54% on this play right here. We saw the low of the day was touched right here. It was created around the first hour of the market open, and we saw the high was created right here. So we saw both highs and lows and exactly where the market opened. And what I did was trust my technical analysis. We came here, we bounced off this low once, and then we closed here, and we actually came back down. And I said, I'm going to grab this call option right here if it comes above this close. It's exactly what I did. I bought it. Sure enough, we shot up. I held all the way through this purple line, which is VWAP, just the volume weighted average price. Again, guys, if you don't know what I'm talking about and want more in-depth lessons, I do private one-on-ones, right? But we took this all the way up. I got out right here, right? Because we were looking at some levels here where there's a lot of sellers. So we got out here, and sure enough, this thing tanked, right? Absolutely tanked. And yes, we could have made right here was 50%. This whole move down, we could have probably made 300%. But that's not what we're doing, right? We came into this trade, we wanted calls in and out. So biggest thing was that we trust our technical analysis. We saw that it respected our rules, and we got in the trade and we got out of the trade. It's the biggest thing. Biggest psychology factor is not getting too emotional attached with these plays. Next thing that I want to touch on is Verizon, XOM, OXY, Roku, and LMT, because that is what we are going through and holding on to this following week. And I know you guys that are in my Discord, you're wanting to know what I'm thinking, what I'm looking at with this. So first one we're going to go over is Verizon. All right. Verizon, I love, right? I think I'm going to buy more at market open because we're down maybe, I don't know, 30% on it because it's such a low cost option. But if we look at Verizon, we can see that we had earnings, right? Earnings popped up. And guys, I have a screenshot. I was up 101% on these options for a second. I took a screenshot of it and I went to go sell. And then all of a sudden it was back down to 50%, 30%. And then boom, I was like up 10%. I was like, oh my God, this was the fastest morning like earnings I've ever had to try and catch. So what happened was we've been stuck holding this now. But if we look at the overall thesis of this play, take a look with me, okay? Here's what I'm seeing. So initially, I had these call options around here because we saw it break this downtrend, right? This is the downtrend, broke it here really, came back up, broke again, got in these call options, and we see a nice uptrend for the future. So Verizon, I like, still like it. We got these double bottoms here. We've got earnings, the momentum to help us keep going up. We've got this block and zone being well respected, letting us know that we still want to go higher. So I have a lot of faith in Verizon. I'm not worried about the play. Just wanted you guys to see this so you guys can see what I'm seeing. All right, the next play I'm going to look at is XOM. Okay, XOM, a lot of you guys are freaking out on, and it's okay, right? When you guys are in options and you're only paying attention to the call outs and you don't really know why we're in it, and we see it go down, I understand why some of you guys may be freaking out on it, but I want you to see that we are set. We are good, right? This is a huge channel that XOM is in. We have good news with gas. We have good news with solar. We have good news everything with Trump in office. So I'm not worried about these plays. We have until the 31st for earnings, and that is why I wanted to play this stock, because I think by earnings, by this time, this is so much time still, for it to either one, I think we're gonna bounce here, and I think we will be fine. But the worst case scenario is us coming all the way down to 107 and then coming up. So I'm going to be adding into this position here and there, and I'll let you guys know. But XOM, I am not worried about, and I like it a lot. The next one is OXY, Oxy. And this is another petroleum type of gas company that I love as well. And this one, guys, we have all the way out until I think February, right? So this is a longer call option. And just take a look at this analysis, right? If we take a look at this, we can see we have a beautiful inverse head and shoulders forming, or damn near formed, right? So the worst case scenario this thing can do is come back down to 48.50 and then bounce all the way up, right? I think this thing can be taken all the way to about $58. And we are currently sitting at 49. That's a $10 move on Oxy. Okay. So I'm not worried about this at all. I just want you guys to see this so you can see what I'm looking at. There's a lot on my charts. There's like a Fibonacci tool. There's resistance. There's 50% of Fibonacci, 100% of Fibonacci. There are support, resistance lines. There's patterns being drawn. There's VWAP. There's a lot of things on here that may not make sense, may look like what the heck, but this is actually a very clean chart, very easy, simple chart. And if you guys had classes with me, you would see how to chart this yourself, and you'd be like, oh, I'm not worried about this play at all. Yeah, we've had to keep dropping because that's what needs to happen in order for this pattern to be valid, right? So we've continued to drop, and we should pop here shortly. So Oxy, love it still, not worried about it at all. My other play that I've been holding on to that has been going up and down and up and down is Roku. Roku is a beautiful play. Beautiful. I still think Roku has a $90 price target, right? Like, look at this. This is the exact same play as Oxy almost, where we had an inverse head and shoulders, and it actually turned into a double bottom as well. And continuing up, we have this uptrend here. There's just so many things that tell me that it wants to keep going up, so I'm not worried about Roku at all. As far as if you guys want to get in Roku right now, I think it'd still be okay. Right, we have it out, I believe, until March, so you guys would be fine. It's actually got a pretty good spot for a re-entry right now because we're bouncing on this trend line. I think it's going to do something like this, right, where we come up, test, retest, and Roku likes to have these little jumps, right? Pop, do nothing, pop, do nothing, pop, right? So I think Roku, if you wanted to get in, if you're not in yet, look back into the past plays. I can look this up right now, but our Roku is a $100 call and expiring March 21st. Okay, so that one I'd be fine with you guys entering as well. And then the last play I wanted to go over was LMT, and this is what we are currently in right now as well. We've had this play go up 150%. We're currently sitting at 15%, right? This thing can go up 300%, right? We have $550 call options that expire March 21st. Okay. We are up right now, like I said. So as far as an entry, potentially a good entry here as well. I don't see any issues with it. If you guys wanted to get in, this could look like another potential solid reentry. So if you guys haven't been in this play yet and you want to get in, there you go. Here's another play for you. But yeah, Lockheed Martin is beautiful, right? We just came through. Check this out, right? So weekly order block came down, bounced off beautifully off of it. This is where we actually entered, came all the way up, looking good. We have this support that became a resistance, so which is why we came down when this stock hit this line. But this is just a short-term bearishness. Long-term, I believe Lockheed is bullish, and I believe that we should see it, I mean, eventually go back all the way to 630, 640. But for now, we are just trying to catch this thing up to maybe 530, 540. We've taken it from 470 to 500. We've been up, like I said, 150%. We've been up 15%, 110%, right? So there's a bunch of Lockheed Martin's a little different because the spread is so large that you can make. I mean, literally, I'm looking at it right now, and I've had options that went up to $3.63 all the way back down to $2.23 in blinks of eyes, right? So it's just because it has lower volume because we have these call options all the way out until March. So I'm not worried about it. Lockheed Martin, it's a great company. Comes to weapons, war, artillery. Like with Trump in office, like he's all about getting a stronger military, stronger everything. So LMT, I love like all these plays that I've mentioned already. Again, Verizon, ZOM, ExxonMobil, Oxy, Petroleum Company, Roku, Lockheed Martin, everything, Adobe, all look fantastic. Enphase, I'm gonna probably get back into. I'm gonna drop my watch list here for you guys momentarily as well. So that was just a quick recap on the plays that we were in last week, how we played them, why we played them, and then also what I'm looking at continuing with these plays that we are in right now. Right. So I hope this was a good video for you guys. Again, KSM Trading 25 on Instagram. Look out for that watch list and let's keep the gains going.